welcome to Spill the RT. Josh, how are you doing?
Hey, folks. Alan, I'm doing well, Eamon. How's your week been?
Oh, sure, look, it's been fantastic. I've been traveling the world yet again. I must be spending all of my time of the year lately. But last week it was good. I was in Thurles in Tipperary, seeing all the rugby boys and girls, of course. I'm getting a celebration on for their 100th year anniversary, so that was cool. How
Nice.
about you?
I go nowhere. I do nothing. I just stay at home and work.
Very good, very good. Well, I mean, look, somebody has to pay the bills, I suppose.
Absolutely, as most artists would say, right? You got to find a way to keep the art going.
Find a way, you find a way. You're very resourceful, Josh. You're very
Filthy
resourceful.
lucre.
Yeah. I also, I got a delivery today. I got a delivery just in
Oh,
time for today's podcast. Are you ready to have a go?
oh yeah. What'd you get?
Here we go. I'm stepping back. One sec. Here we go. I got some swag.
Ah, swag.
Swag. I got some swag. It's our FOMA t-shirt. Hashtag patent pending.
Fear of missing art, folks.
Fear
Fear
of
of
missing
missing
art.
art.
Yes,
Woo!
yes, it is. Make sure you get your hands on some swag, or swag, or skag.
Check the fit. Check the fit.
Check the fit. It's on www.newcollective.com/spill the RT. Available now.
We see
So
you. We want you to buy from us.
we do, and it's all supporting all of our artists and getting this show on the road, making it happen. But Josh, let's stop talking about merch now and figure out what's coming up in today's show.
So, this week, the color Van Gogh actually used for the famous irises, confiscated Mafia art in Milan, crazy AI art in the real world, and this is not one you're going to believe, folks. This is just unbelievable. A new science archive goes live, including Stephen Hawking's vocoder, yes, the
No
actual
way.
voice of the man, and the photography of snowflakes, which are really cool. All
Amazing.
that and a brand new guest are coming up next as we spill the art
Get
tea.
that tea spilt, everyone. Put on the
Available
kettle
on the
and let's
site.
put on the kettle and let's get on with the show. We're bringing on our guest, Amanda Neri. Hello, Amanda.
Hi there, how are you, Eamon? And
How are
Josh?
things? How are things
Hiya.
with
Um,
you, Amanda?
Good. I'm in the very south of Ireland in Kinsale, and a
Lovely.
nice dry day, but a bit of icy winteriness in the air.
Excellent, excellent. We're like weather people in Ireland, aren't we, Amanda? We kind of
We
we
are,
love
we
to we
love
love
it.
to talk about the weather. Every time it's like, well, how are you? Oh, sure, I'm great. And sure, the weather's great, isn't it? It is wonderful today.
Well, we set the scene. It's about setting the scene.
Setting exactly, exactly, exactly. Amanda, we have loads to talk about with what's going on with you, and we'll get to all of that at the end of the show. But as we have a jam-packed set of stories this week, we're going to head swiftly into our very first story. Josh, where are we going to first?
I guess we're heading to Southern California. I'm trying to figure out exactly where this exhibition is going to be done. So, everyone I think is aware of Van Gogh's irises. It's a very famous piece he did when he was in the asylum in France. And everyone in the modern world has seen those flowers as blue.
Hmm.
And this kind of perplexed people because Van Gogh was kind of known for color theory. And for those that are not aware of what color theory is, it's about ways of like balancing opposites in order to create more of a 3D kind of effect and make things kind of pop.
Okay.
And so they did some research and they realized actually Van Gogh had used a red that had oxidized. And so it had been purple, but now it looks blue because the red that would have been part of this is no longer there. So they
Wow.
created a digital version, and what they're putting at in the Getty Center, which I believe is Southern California, they're putting up the original, which is valued at like $32 million, and then a digital print using this color correction so you can kind of see the two. Kind of neat.
Wow, cool. Well, I'm colorblind and I can't tell the difference between blue or purple. So it's all one color for me. But I still think it's really cool that they could actually identify what the original pigment was and use the digitizers that they found. I think that it's amazing to see that technology has really advanced that much to get that information. Isn't that really cool? Amanda, what do you think? Have you seen this piece, this painting before?
I have. It's one of my favorites. I love the flow, the feeling of the sway of the irises in the wind. That feeling of it, anyway.
Hmm.
But no, I would not have thought that red was used underlying it. It's a lovely piece of information to find out on
Yeah,
spill.
And what drives it is this idea that because of the color theory, that you would not normally put blue and green next to each other because they're too close on the color wheel. And what drives a lot of this theory is that you try to put opposites or tertiaries, things that are not directly next to each other in some way, right? And so the purple and the green create some opposition to your eye. And so it forces this kind of 3D kind of effect. The blue and the green together sort of they combine, and so there it's like a more of a background image as opposed to pushing forward the way it was originally intended.
Yeah, no, I think it's really beautiful though as an image. I mean, Van Gogh's work is always stunning, and it's always great to kind of share. We've often shared Van Gogh's work on Spill the RT, but it's great to see these scientific experiments that happen to see what the actual intention was. And
the other part I thought was cool was that the actual flowers are still there. And so like part of what was driving this is that the original like flower beds, they've been planted and replanted. And so they're like, this is not the flowers that are there. And those aren't the flowers that would have been there in the past. So why did he paint it this way? And so I think that's really cool that it's like history's still alive. And yet what has been captured in the painting because of the way in which oxygen works over time, it's lost a lot of the punch. And so for once, I wouldn't say AI, but digital reconstruction helped us here.
Yeah, amazing. Good news story. So good news story. Good realization.
And changing tone, turning a flip on that one. I guess this is technically good. So I think everyone's aware that, the mafia gets busted and they confiscate all kinds of things from the mafia. In this case, this is actual famous artworks that have been confiscated in these raids. And so in Milan, this stuff is going up for auction. And you can see it before it goes out the door.
And seriously famous artworks as well. It's not like there's work from Giorgio de Chirico and Renato Guzzo, and there's so many famous artworks that are in this.
There's Warhols. I mean, it's incredible, right? Like anything else, art becomes a way of like putting your cash into something that you can get cash back out of at some point, right? So it kind of makes sense that folks that are trying to avoid government scrutiny might be putting money into artwork in this kind of way.
These are pictures from that exhibition that's happening at the moment, but isn't it just amazing that they could recover these, and it's great to showcase them together with that same story or that same that it's come from that. I'm glad that they weren't destroyed. I suppose they have great respect for things that are authentic. Those Mafian folks.
That's a good thing about the Romans or the Italians, so they really do. They would suit well in Oscar Wilde's world, art for art's sake, or money's sake. But
in their case.
But the thing is, the Italians do respect it, I think.
But they've been busting all kinds of networks in Italy of fakes, so I don't know that the Italians necessarily respect.
Okay. Well, I admire their ingenuity around their lack of respect then, because it makes us
What I thought was interesting was, if you're doing any kind of a show in a museum or a gallery, you have to find, well, what's your through point going to be? How are you going to connect these pieces together, right? And so often it's like topological or topographical or it's driven by a theme in some kind of way. And so this was a kind of cool way of uniting these works, right? That wouldn't normally be shown together in this way. It's what brought them together. Well, the mafia decided it was worth of their time and money to have in their possession.
It's cool. As I say, cool connection. And that's stories.
This may not be related, and I may be throwing you off theme, but it is great. It reminds me of the story of Napoleon, of course, when he was doing his warmongering. And he looted so much treasure, but anyway, he, when he was, defeated, England recovered a lot of the treasure, and a lot of them were artworks belonging to the Vatican, which they duly returned, much to their credit. But Pope Pius VII asked his best sculptor at the time to create casts as a thank you for the British crown. So that was Antonio Canova. But you must be aware of that, Eamon, of the Canova casts in the southernmost part of Ireland. We're really half an hour away from the end of the world in Ireland.
Half an hour away from the end of the world?
At the end of the Ireland,
at the end of Ireland.
The island, into Gogh, onto the Atlantic. But the
course.
fact that we have the Canova casts that, south due to Napoleon's plundering of Italian art is amazing to me.
No, it is. It is. It's very.
Amazing.
It's really interesting. And again, just to show how far and wide history can be stretched.
Yes, and we are happy to be Mafia-ized for the sake of the art.
Mafia. Coin that term now, Amanda. Get the trademark on that. Mafia-ized.
You said it. I didn't.
Love it. I think that tea is spilled, and we're moving now into, or we're going to see the Asian Pacific Triennale of Contemporary Art in Brisbane, Australia. What's happening there, Josh?
Yeah, this is some crazy shit. I'm just gonna flat out say it. Hey, hook me up to a computer that can electrocute me as I try to draw a circle.
Yeah.
And so what you get is this like, right? Just absolutely crazy. And it's the AI that's deciding when she gets zapped.
It's really, beyond, it's bringing performance art to a completely new level. Would you do this, Amanda? Would you hook yourself up to an electrical shock system?
No.
And let somebody determine your fate?
No.
But it's not somebody. It's a machine. It's not a person.
Yeah, but there are masochists out there, as we know, but not me. I ask the dentist to numb my teeth when they're getting cleaned, even, so not me, no.
Yeah, I'm with you there, Amanda. I'm 100% with you there. No, even the slightest touch, I'm kind of like, no pain for me, please. No, and they're signing up for pain.
There's this famous story by Harlan Ellison, I Have No Mouth, But I Must Scream, which is about a post-apocalyptic human being tortured by a computer. Right? Mm-hmm. That's what came to mind for me for this. Like, this is absolutely insane. One thing to have, hey, I'm going to have an art project where other people get to torture me. Okay, maybe not. This takes it beyond the next level, right? This isn't just a machine doing it. This is artificial intelligence deciding here's when you get zapped.
It's strangely compelling, though, if you had to volunteer to the right person for it. Someone you'd like to teach a lesson to.
Well, do you know, it's kind of like back in the day when people used to berate themselves, because it was of religious things, of religious reasoning. But I think they're just doing this for the fun of it, really. Or is there some sort of, okay, I take that back. Maybe there is a particular reason. What is the reason?
There's of people that like pain, isn't there? There are people like that. So it's obviously for them.
I think this is more about trying to point out ways in which the technology is like coming to overwhelm. I think that's the best way to read this. And I just, it gets back to this idea of why do we need this? I've said this before when it comes to AI and art. I never asked for any of this. I don't see a reason for it. And it's almost like, it's like this inevitability, like you're being pulled towards it in a way. Even if you say no, it's still a yes. And it aggravates the hell out of me.
Very good points. I knew nothing of this until this program, so that's another 2 pieces of valuable information for me.
Great, see
that, folks?
Every day's a learning day.
We provide value.
There's, just before we kind of spill the tea on this or finish, put that tea to bed, there are a couple of other images that I think are kind of cool in this exhibition, in this Triennale, and I like this piece, and there's another piece here which I quite like this, and I actually kind of think that, Josh, it's very much up your street.
Yeah, I saw this. For those that don't know, you're looking at, it's got ink that's been embedded into an ice cube and allowed to melt. Right. And so it's about like the melting world and the ephemerality of this stuff. And yeah, it's kind of interesting to me, but it also seems kind of one note. Like my problem with a lot of this stuff is it's so intentionally contemporary.
Yeah.
That people always talk about that. It smacks of a moment in time. And that's what this stuff does for me. And I don't know how much for me, it's this idea that art transcends its moment, and it doesn't mean the same thing to people at a different moment, right? And I don't know if, like, it's almost like if you have to explain it, then I don't know how effective it is in the long term in that way.
Yeah, I don't know if to coin the term of wicked, I don't know if it holds space,
It's all subjective, though, isn't it? I mean, that's the great thing about art, isn't it? Like, there are so many people going to have a different viewpoint to that.
But that,
but I love listening to your analysis of it. It really opens a wider perspective on it, you know. So I love the minimalism of it all and the focal point. You know, focus on one thing. So, but
Amanda, Josh always brings the wisdom to the table.
yes,
no, but
it's very
I think
yes.
I think invoking the Wizard of Oz here is very interesting, right?
Yes.
Because that's a story about gold and silver futures in the 19th century in the Midwest in the United States that then becomes a stage play that then gets re-envisioned multiple times, where it's literally now inverted inside out so that the witches are the heroines of the story, right? And then you combine that with something like Pink Floyd, and you can watch the film, listen to a different soundtrack, completely recreate a completely different experience for yourself, right? To me, that's what capital A art is. It's not about money. It's the fact that people take it and make it part of their lives, and then it gets reused and reinvented. That's what it is to be human. And so
that's what it is to be creative. Isn't that just super exciting, though?
Absolutely.
Oh, I would argue that's what we should all be doing, right? Everybody is an artist.
Yeah, absolutely, and I totally agree with that. And like, I mean, in all of its positivity, I take from what you just said that it's like, you know, we need to continually reinvent, make, and try to tell stories and, you know, entertain.
Who knew I could be positive?
I know. It's like we're maybe you're starting to make some New Year's resolutions. Are you? We're getting up to that point now where,
or it's just the end of the year and I'm just too tired, and so my cynicism has.
You're not looking for reformation, no.
Neither reformation nor affirmation.
Yeah, but it is magical. What you said there is incredible, but it's magical that from the void of nothingness of imagination, you can create such a full entity of everything, you know, and still make it moving and growing. It is I think actually that kind of, firstly, the way of thinking and creating is the nearest to, what do you call it, immortality, if you know what I mean. Thing is stretched out and stretched out. It's such a subliminal thing. So that's what fascinates me.
Absolutely.
Nothing's there. It's all from a thought, and yet you have to make it palpable and execute it and create it. And now it's out there to be reinvented, as you say again.
Yes, your life energy has animated it in some way, right? And then when others take it up, it's the idea, like, you're not dead as long as people remember your name, right?
Yes, well, but even
as long as the artwork is going, then the energy that helped to create it is still there, and that's the beautiful.
Absolutely, it's more that really. It's more that then has the life form. You know what I mean? I wouldn't care so much about the name so much, even though I love reading about people that are the originators of things. I do. For my own sake, I really am always fascinated. You're sitting there, you have a thought, and this thing didn't exist before that thought, and then you're able to make it a credible thing outside of yourself into something else that means something to someone. So I don't know, or hopefully or not. You know, I mean, obviously there's a myriad of people's thoughts on that too, but I
think you're right though. The work speaks for itself sometimes, you know, and it has its own entity and it takes a life form on its own, and that's really cool.
Yes, so that, you know, the art world is fantastic and creative.
We are alchemists.
We are alchemists. We are.
Yeah, but there's magic in it, you know. I saw a woman actually painting, if I'm not too long in it, a watercolor, and it really was alchemy in front of my eyes, because obviously the paint only took color where it hit water, and it was so, you know, invisible without it. It was just incredible what she created in 5 minutes from nothing, and obviously hers was a very much a templated thing. It wasn't even that original, but it still was alchemy to watch it, you know. It's incredible.
But it's cool how something can be created from nothing, and you know, and
that's the thing. Yes,
it's amazing.
I wrote poems about that.
Yeah, cool. And there, with those beautiful positivity notes, we're going to take a break, and we'll be right back after these messages. Neri Collective is a arts collective with lots and lots of art available for sale on our website at www.nericollective.com. We have hundreds of artworks from our 20 artists with fresh work added weekly to our collection. Here you will find our new journal featuring articles and podcasts, which are also available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Follow us on our Instagram and TikTok, like this video, and subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you don't miss out on us spilling the RT every week on Monday on our YouTube channel and wherever you get your podcasts from. So do follow us, www.nericollective.com. And so, Josh, where are we at? What are people to do?
You know what you're supposed to do, folks. Like, share, subscribe, comment, send to 3 friends. order some swag, ask us for new swag.
Get
Come
that
on.
swag going.
Fear of
share,
missing
subscribe.
art.
Fear of missing art. Yes,
Come on.
yes.
Come
Fear
on.
of missing art. Fear of missing art. I got the FOMO t-shirt. We got FOMA. Amanda, have you ever had FOMA?
A few times, nothing too amazing. No, I'm happy to be without FOMA.
Okay, fair enough. That's kind of crushing my dreams, but that's okay. That's fine.
Fear of missing out on art. Is that what it means? Fear of missing out
Fear of
on
missing
art.
art. Yeah. It's like, do you know, fear of missing out.
Fear of missing art. Oh yes,
Yeah.
I have. I thought it was more of events. No, oh yes, I have. Jeepers, I live for creativity. And you know what? I only got it back again this year after a feeling I was missing it. You know, so it's part of my identity.
Good.
Form. Yeah.
Well, let's
So,
get
yes,
that
I have.
swag on, and let's get. I even got this whole new slide. Look at this swag. Get that swag. Look at that. Boom, 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 boom.
But
boom.
there's an H.
There's an H. Not anymore. This is now. I started with the mistake, and now it's written in gold. So we are SCWAAAAAAAG. Swag.
Swag.
Yeah, it's swag. Amanda,
Buy
as you can
some.
see, we go a little bit loony in these little podcasts, but let's hope it's entertaining and people do continue to listen.
So off we go.
Off we go.
To where is Swindon?
Where's Swindon? It's in the UK, isn't it?
No, I know
Yes,
it's in the UK. The question is, where in the UK is Swindon? Because there's a brand new 545-acre science museum and repository.
Oh my
and
goodness.
This thing, it looks like something out of just like a warehouse. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen. It's just shelves. It's like going into a warehouse store, except it's nothing but science objects and archives, and including things like Hawking's vocoder, like the actual technology that was used to create his voice is part of this display. And so you could just walk on in. Yeah, look at that. It's just crazy. You just walk on in and it's just like history en masse, like everything involving the creation of science. It's there.
I think it
Pretty
was
cool.
an old air hangar, wasn't it? It was kind of like, was it somewhere? Yeah, that they used to kind of construct or renovate planes. But yeah, it's so cool that is where Hawking's voice box now lives. And they do open it up to the public so people can go in and have a look and see the different pieces. But it's also a massive warehouse for storage, and I think they let out different artifacts and different pieces to different exhibition centers and museums to build their exhibitions. So it's
well,
really
they're
quite
also
cool.
and they're set up with a photography studio. It's like one of the big issues here, right? Is like you have an archive of hundreds of thousands of things, and then no one ever gets to see any of it. And that's always been the problem of humanity, right? Like we create these archives, we create these libraries, and then they burn down or they get destroyed, and no one ever took pictures, so it's gone. And so what they're trying to do here, quite intentionally, is to have an actual photographic archive of everything that they're creating.
Yeah, no, it's really cool. That's really cool. Would you go, Amanda? Would you go to see it?
I would. I love the sound of it. I'd love it. Yeah.
Just got to figure out where Swindon is.
Where Swindon is. It's fine. Google Maps will help, or Apple Maps or wherever your loyalties lie.
Sorry, don't cancel us in Swindon. Sorry.
Sorry, Swindon.
Any of us.
Poor Swindon.
He's always worried. He thinks somehow there's going to be people pounding down the doors in London. You forgot about us.
I didn't forget about them. I didn't. I'm very loyal towards Wales for some reason. So. I've adopted Wales as my new country, but I'm not. I'm totally Irish, 100%.
All descendants of the Vikings, are you not? Get used to it, folks.
Oh dear. Okay, that tea is spilled, and we're moving now to something a little Christmassy, because Christmas is around the corner. In fact, we have a Christmas special next week with a very cool guest coming on too, but we'll leave that for later. But now we're going to see some snowflakes, and real, actual snowflakes. Look at this, people. This is amazing.
This is applied science, right? Because obviously we know that every snowflake is unique. Turns out they're really not. There's like things that grow in patterns and things. But this is super high res photography, and they're doing their best to try to capture as many different variations as possible. And we're always looking for like when science and art meet, and this is
Absolutely.
another example of that for sure.
These photographs particularly are taken by Nathan Meyervold, and I just think they're really stunning, so much so that I have multiple slides of them so that we can just immerse ourselves in the beauty. So here's the first one, and here's another one. Look at this
So
one.
for those that don't know, Nathan Mervold, he's a tech guy. He's like a billionaire. And so he puts his money into doing super high resolution camera things. He put together a book of cooking that had like they would slice stuff in half for every one of the recipes and shoot it with the super high res photography. So he's become known for creating this kind of like archival quality work of taking things that aren't necessarily artistic, but because of the way it's been organized and presented, it becomes more than what it was.
Yeah. Cool. Well, he's fascinating. There's two more. Aren't they just stunning?
They're stunning. They're magnificent.
They're so cool.
Absolutely. They're like Celtic brooches.
Yeah, actually, they really are. Beautiful.
Yeah. I also think of them as like, when you're cutting gems, they cut them in perfectly so that you get more light reflection inside of them. Like a diamond's not cut perfectly on purpose. And it reminds me of that too, that you have these different facets that would be bouncing the light around when you were actually looking at the snowflake in real life. I
just love how you were so familiar with a snowflake and what a snowflake looks like, insofar as this is what you'd see in the comic book, or this is what you'd see on the Christmas card, and this is the actual representation of them, which is so not far from what it actually is. And it's just magic. I think it looks quite magical.
It's just they're stunned.
Yeah. We talked just about how creativity is magical, and this is science. This is real life, and this is really magical, I think.
Well, there's pixie dust around us all the time.
Yeah, see?
Absolutely.
Amazing. So there's
speaking of
pixie dust.
That's right. We're transitioning over to our guest section.
Absolutely. Amanda.
Hooray.
Amanda.
It's all about me.
We're going to start talking about you now a bit more, and you're going to tell us a little bit about you first and what your background is, because you have a lot of strings to your bow. Excuse the musical reference, but you do. So tell us a little bit about you.
Yes, well, I suppose I love the creative arts. I'm a singer primarily. That was my main career. And I diversify. I love exploring the arts to see, where I can maybe have enjoy furthering, talents that you may or may not know you have, more that. Yeah. And of course, COVID and lockdown was a great space to kind of do that even more than usual. So I couldn't sing. All the musical arts was really affected, obviously, in a big way. And then I tried my hand at art, even though I'll still go back to that, because I'm not really good at drawing or anything like that. And so I did do maybe 8 or 10 canvases, and I thought to myself, no, I'm not happy with that. I was just trying a certain style that for me didn't work. So I gave them to a charity shop, left them outside the door. And then 2 days later, I saw on the charity shop's Facebook page, canvases free to collect to paint over. So I thought, okay, well, I got that right. Nothing like a bit of realism. So I got an unsolicited review that was in line with my own, but that's the way that goes. So that was now writing I've always been doing, but on my own private level. I started off writing songs when I was very young. And then that developed into writing a musical. I wrote 2 full-length musicals, but one was successful, Living on the Streets, about homeless people and the various characters that I met. Based on true characters, actually, that I met throughout my youth and life going forward. And that won me a Best Newcomer Award of that year. It was in the 90s when I was in my teens. That since then I continued writing songs and then left it, because now I realize they all need to be rehashed again, and new arrangements made, and it's as if time has modernized or made old-fashioned what I created, if you know what I mean. So I need to re-look at all of that. And then always writing poems, always writing bits and pieces. But COVID, of course, made me focus on the writing again, and that I started entering writing competitions just for fun, and mainly because I loved the competitions that you a task, I suppose. So that you might be limited to 100 words, 200 words, and that kind of focused me on, okay, just let's focus on that. So I enjoyed that, and then I didn't get anywhere with that, but that's neither here nor there. It was for the sake of the exercise is why I did that. And it again was like some of the things you said, Josh, how your perspective widens and changes due to being opened to what other people do. You know, I wouldn't necessarily have had that much experience in other people's art. I loved it from an observer's point of view without going too much into depth into things. But what some people wrote, I really discovered flash fiction, I suppose, just these really short written exercises. But what some people were able to write with 200 words, and the layers they gave it, and the depth of meaning and how profound it was incredible. So that has opened my eyes again, another place to go back to when I'm ready to go back. So to sum all that up, then this book that I wrote, we're all doing our lockdown walks. Actually, I wrote lockdown limericks in the meantime. So in 10 days, I wrote 75 limericks on lockdown.
75 in 10 days. Wow.
Yes,
Were you trying to set the record?
It was desperation. I thought I'll have this to sell for Christmas, but I didn't think of the space you needed to market, sell it, all of that. But anyway, it was a good exercise and happy with it. I now have a record of lockdown in limerick form. But anyway, I was taking my walks and I noticed all these fairy doors around the area that I was walking in Kinsale. But I also found I love fairy tale. I'm a bit of a child. I love animated movies. I love anything with color and joy. But I found every few days when I had to take the walk, I found I was looking for the fairy doors, and different things would be added every few days. A lamppost, a butterfly, little things, and I just thought it was a beautiful little world growing in front of me. And then some thought came into my mind. Where did we get the first fairy door from? Where did all this start? And my mum had sadly passed away just the year before COVID, very suddenly. But she used to tell us, so I was in that space of nothingness, I suppose, that nothingness was a bit of pointlessness to things. But she had always told us she loved her grandfather reading stories to her, but in particular Heidi. And so I've only one brother, and we grew up always seeing our mother as Heidi, this little girl with her grandfather. So two lines came to me. I suppose which opens the book, it opens, where did they come from? The little girl said, the fairies and stories you hide in your head. Grandpa, he whispered, soft with a smile, prepare for a tale not been told in a while. And the story goes on. So I kind of had her in my mind. So the illustrations also kind of reflect. She was a lovely blonde little girl. I don't know if you can see this, but there's the little girl with her grandfather. 1 second, I'll try and move it over. No, I don't know.
You can share that with me.
Yeah, we'll put it up. Okay.
I'll put them up.
Yeah,
we have this beautiful picture of the cover here, which is obviously of the fairy door itself. It's stunning.
Yes, so that's a little wooden door that I put on myself on all the books. And you can actually detach that, and then you're left with the cover of the book if you wish. So you can leave it on the book as well, and the child can colour that door and personalise it to their own wish door.
Oh, amazing.
So that's how that kind of works.
So
yeah, it was a real project of love, and there's a lot of personalisation for me in it and closure in it, but it's a beautiful children's story that's
amazing. And who did the illustrations, Amanda?
A guy called Alan O'Regan.
Amazing.
And he really, as you may know, Eamon, I have very specific thoughts on what I like. So luckily, I wanted to work with someone who really wasn't working with someone, that kind of person who was looking forward to it, and that it wasn't just another job.
Yeah.
And in the search for the right illustrator, I had spoken to a woman online who was in the Netherlands, another one in Germany, because I loved their illustrations of fairies in particular. They were really realistic and beautiful. But there would have been difficulties in what I wanted interpreted, little secret things in relation to my family. So that kind of wasn't working out for me, but they were really beautiful. And then I got the name of this, I met an art teacher And I said, do you know any student that would, be into this? And she said no first, and then said this boy who had left the college and he was really good at art. Took a while to get through to him, and it was just the minute I met him, I knew it was it. The way you'd look at his work, he brought his portfolio. Yeah, he's in his early 20s, but he I had an emotional connection to it, and even though it's what I asked for, and I brought photographs of family I wanted to align with, he interpreted very well. We had a few challenges along the way, but we're still friends. So it's good. So it's a very good collaborative thing, and we hope to do another one together. So
amazing. And Amanda, where can people get a copy of the book?
Yeah. Thanks, Sim. So it's in Cork in the moment. You have to imagine that while this was a 2-year project, I only have the physical copies since the 3rd of October. Yeah. So I concentrated so that really there hasn't been any promotion, social media, any of that, because I thought I don't have the time or the laptop. Yeah. So that's a New Year's. Once January comes, I'll start a new kind of wave of advertising this. But so I concentrated on face-to-face selling. But good news is, as a trial, I've got it into Dunnes Stores in Cork City, which is a big thing. Oh, yeah, brilliant. So it's in Dunnes Stores, Patrick Street, Dunnes Stores in Blackpool, and Great. Bishop's Court on the Bandon Road. That's 3. In Kinsale, it's in Bookstore, Bookshop, and then in Bandon, it's in Bandon Books Plus or Bandon Plus Books. Brilliant. And it's also in Vibes and Scribes, very important because you can actually see it online there, vibesandscribes.ie.
Great. So we'll put a link to the Vibes and Scribes one. And can people order it online from there, or could they order it through you?
I think they can, but I'd love the Dunnes Stores promoted as well, because that's the one that kind of matters most, that it works.
Yes. They want to see the sales.
Yes, exactly. Well, also the other shops are primarily bookshops that are specifically books, whereas Dunnes is a myriad of different products. So it's to see can mine be a popular one in the midst of all of that.
Perfect.
Not just about books.
But we'll put a link into the description, and we will share that with our followers.
Yes, and I'd like to say thanks, Eamon, very much. I really do appreciate it, and Josh as well for having me on. It's a lovely surprise that I feel the book deserves. I really do feel it's outside of me, and it does promote kindness and friendship. You can't do everything yourself, and sometimes you need a little support from, it's all there in the little world. But it's not an airy fairy story. It's a fine, solid little story.
I thought good. And Josh teaches writing, so
he can be the judge of that then, of course, like the artwork. But anyway, but at the end of it, how the first fairy door originated, and that's what I like.
Amazing. Well, look, as we said, Amanda, we'll get links to that in our descriptions, and we'll promote it on our own social channels as well to hopefully spread the word that the book is available. And thank you so much, Amanda, for sharing that really good, exciting news. It's really good.
Yeah, I appreciate it very much. Thank you.
Amazing. And so concludes episode 29. We didn't mention that it was episode 29 yet, Josh. I mean, are you feeling okay?
That means we're going to be 30 soon.
I know. We have
It's all downhill from here, folks.
It's all downhill from there.
Wait till you get to the year of Jesus.
Oh my God, 33. Everything will happen then. Hopefully we won't be crucified.
Just 4 weeks from now, folks. Fear of missing art.
Fear of missing art. Fear of missing art.
Nothing like another nail in the coffin. But I better stop. I'm on a roll.
Get your FOMA t-shirt. Get all of your swag online now at www.newacollective.com, and make sure you can follow us on Instagram, TikTok, wherever you find your social channels. You'll find us there at Newa Collective Art. Tune in to us every Monday as we spill some tea, but unfortunately, everyone, this is all we have time for. So until next week, have a very creative, have a fabulous week. See you next time. Bye.
Bye, folks.